Hello, dolls. Welcome back to another Thriving Thursday live stream. I'm glad that you're here. If you're watching the replay, we are going to get started around the 5-minute mark, so you can skip ahead if you want, or you can just listen to the announcements and the chit chat. In the meantime, whatever you prefer. Hello, Benedicta. I'm glad you're here, sis. Hello, Alexis. I haven't seen you in a long time. And congrats on the move. I still have to watch that video, but I am going to watch it after this. Also, just announce this really quick. If you want to join the newsletter, look in the description box. I send it out on the 1st and 15th of every month. We cover all things business, faith, and life. I'm going to add in some other extra stuff in there too. And it's like our one-on-one time. You know, you get to hear about things that I don't say otherwise and, you know, all that good stuff. So make sure you check that out. Also, if you are an aspiring creative and you're like, I've got gifts, I've got talents, I've got passions, and I'm ready to create a side income or even maybe a fully functioning business, and you want help putting all the pieces together, then look in the description box and book a creative consultation call with me. It's really going to help you get your foot started in the creative space. I've literally been able to create income for myself, literally working full-time for myself and having my hands in multiple things. So you're not going to regret it. Some of my clients include Auntie Jody on YouTube, A Production, Symphony Music Group, Modern Day Makeup Mommy, et cetera, et cetera. So check that down below. Also, make sure that you support our guest speakers. These are my sisters for real, y'all. Like, I talk to them like for real, for real. So, you know, make sure you support them. All their links, everything are in the description box. If I miss anything, then they will plug it at the end. So please make sure you try to stick around or come back if you can, or, you know, anything like that, and just support everything that they're doing for the glory of God, because they are doing amazing things. And I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. And then, of course, if you are not subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Like, join the Del Doll family, become a Del Doll. I, of course, as you can see, cover all things business, faith, and life, but I do it from a modern perspective. I do it from let's talk about the elephant in the room kind of perspective and things like that. So I would love to have you be here and just be a part of the Del Doll family. So hit that subscribe button. It's free to show love, and it helps me a ton. And give this video a thumbs up as well. Thumbs up, sharing, subscriptions, all of that really helps. And last but not least, if you would like to become a YouTube channel member, you can click that join button underneath this video for general support. And at some point I will be doing special live streams and just private stuff for my members. And you can also give a super thanks. It's a heart with a $sign in the middle. And that's just a way to say thank you for the content and all these different ways that you can support. So that's enough of that. In another 2.5 minutes, we'll get started. Feel free to let me know where you guys are tuning in from. Yes, this is support in the comments for me. Like, that's how you know they are loyal, okay? Because they're the guests and they're helping me in the chat, and I'm here for it. It's a sisterhood for me. So thank you, Sha and Yasmin. I appreciate that. Y'all also bear with me. I randomly got sick from Christian. Christian was sick, and it came literally like so randomly. But you know, that's how kids are. So now everyone else in the house is sick. I'm a lot better today, but if I happen to like need to clear my throat or sneeze or anything on the live, like, just bear with me. I have my liquids here, you know, but I was not about to reschedule this because I'm like, no, we got to do this. I already had to reschedule the other one. Yes, come on, Austin, Texas, Houston, Texas, okay, Alabama, whoop, whoop, and I'm in Atlanta, but originally from DC, DMV area. I had to hop in the chat because of a whole hot messy in my dinner drink prayer. That is hilarious. But you know what? That's how you know, like, we sisters for real, because trust and believe, like, it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do. And I will definitely be taking a sip of my water many a time during this live stream. So, but I'm glad to be here, y'all. This has been a really good month. Also, if you missed any of the prior videos, we started the month off with ROSLYN RENE. She's a Christian mental health therapist, and she just covered the basis as to why we should care about mental health as believers, because I feel like we're getting traction in the church, but we still have a long way to go. And then after that, last week, we had Priscilla HENLEY of Her Faith Walk. All of them have YouTube channels. All their stuff's in the videos, descriptions and stuff. But that was a really, really good discussion. She is a Christian blogger, encourager, YouTuber, and she actually lives with depression and bipolar disorder. And so it was very transparent. We shed tears. It was everything. So, and then on Sunday, I shared my story about church hurt and how I almost left the church. And so there's been quite a few videos this month surrounding mental health. Make sure you check them out and share them and leave comments as well. I really like to hear you guys' feedback. So I'm gonna go ahead and introduce our guest. Like I said, I have two guests. This is a panel discussion tonight. It's Sha Johnson of Obedient Sha or Obedience Podcast, depending on which platform you see her on. And she is definitely one of my sisters in Christ. She is just an amazing podcaster, an amazing friend. And then, of course, my co-laborer, my sister. Hey, Michelle, I didn't even see you come in. Thank you for watching the ads. It's another free way that you can support the channel. But another one of my co-laborers and sisters, Yasmin Williams Woods, Christian YouTuber, motivational speaker, mom, just extraordinaire, wife. I mean, just she's all of the things. She's just rocking and rolling, and she's amazing. So she also has a mentorship group or Christian mother. Well, it's not really just for moms, but don't let me butcher it. She's going to tell you what it is. But without further ado, let me go ahead and bring them in, and you guys give them a warm welcome. Hey, ladies.
Hey.
How are y'all?
Good.
Well, look, I knew that the beauties, Sha and Dale, were going to come slay registered. So I said, you know what, God, this is all we got tonight, because I'm not even going to try to compete.
This is natural, sis. Like, I thought about some makeup, and I was like, look, we going to just put on a wig and keep it moving.
I get it.
So Shay's holding it down. She's holding it down for us.
Always.
So we're going to start with the icebreaker game. As you guys know, what, where, when. So I have 6 questions, 2 in each category. And I'll just, like I said, I'll try to call out your names, but whoever gets to it first, if I miss it, just have at it. So what is your favorite ice cream flavor? Shay, you can start.
Neapolitan.
Okay.
Am I answering too?
Yep.
Strawberry, but I do mess with the Neapolitan, but I like the chocolate and with the strawberry.
Mm-hmm.
Got you. Mine is cookies and cream. That's my favorite.
That's good too. It's too sweet though. I need really? All 3 flavors. Mm-hmm. I'm not into sugar though, so that's why.
Oh, got you. I'm
not big on ice cream, but I love sugar.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so Yasmin, we're going to start with you on this one. Where did you go to high school?
I went to Cleveland School of the Arts.
Nice, okay.
So I went to Blunt High School. I left because y'all know that's what Ashley teaches now. So she's at my alma mater teaching.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Wow, look at that. I went to a school called Tacoma Academy. So it was a church school. But yeah, it was right outside DC, or technically DC, depending on zoning. But yeah. So Shay, when did you accept Christ in your life?
I would say officially in 2019.
Really?
Yeah, but I grew up with them, you know.
Got you.
I think I got baptized when I was 10 or so. But like that personal relationship developed around 2018, 2019.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. What about you, Yasmin?
I accepted Jesus at 11, but it's like I let him into my life, but it was like, you can come in, but sit over there, be quiet, don't say nothing, until I turned like 23.
Nice. Yeah, mine is similar to that, Yasmin. I would say I fully accepted him in 2009 when I was like just about to turn 21, but I really didn't get serious until like 27 when I, got pregnant. That's when I was like, all right, I done wild out enough, time to come in from outside. So Shay, what is your favorite go-to outfit right now?
Right now, it would have to be biker short. No. The leggings with the pockets, the shorts, the legging shorts with the pockets, and a t-shirt because it's hot down here.
The humidity is no joke.
Yeah, it's so hot here too. Like it is intensively hot. So all weekend I wore shorts, and some of y'all know my journey with shorts. I just started back wearing shorts a few years ago because I'm like, Christian women can't wear shorts. Lies. And but I like to throw on a quick, easy summer dress because it's cool. Yeah, it's hot.
I'm right there with y'all. I'm biker shorts or summer dress all day. So I think all weekend I wore shorts, but now this week has been dresses. So we'll just see where it goes from there. But
I know that Texas heat is nothing like that Texas heat.
Okay.
At least we can get like the coast wind. Y'all can't even get that.
Yes. Okay. Like it's too much. Michelle says she likes rompers. I like rompers too, but then when I have to use the restroom, it's like, dang, like
Yeah, I just
You're gonna
don't
take it
go.
all
I'm
in.
down for a good romper though too. Anything
Yeah.
that's like a one piece, that's why I like dresses. I don't have to think too much. This is like one outfit. I'm good.
So easy. So next question, Shay, where did you get your first job?
Okay, technically, my first job was at this place called Food for Less. It was a grocery store, but I was there for like 1 week, so I really don't count it. So I would say that my real first job was Winn Dixie. I don't know if y'all heard of that. It's a grocery
Mhm.
store, and I stayed there from senior year of high school all the way until I got my career job. So I was
Wow.
there a long
Okay.
time.
And that's where
Yeah.
you met Ashley, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we met.
Wow. Look at
Cool.
God. And then y'all was podcasting together and everything. Look at that.
Yep. hmm
What about you, Yasmin?
My first job was Walgreens, and I love Walgreens. It is like
Mhm.
top before last year. It was my favorite job, but
Mm.
of all time, I love working at Walgreens. Yeah, I
I
love it.
love Walgreens. Just running in real quick for something. I ain't gotta navigate a bunch of aisles and it's just in and out, you know? So I
Does
love it.
Winn Dixie? Does Winn Dixie? Sorry, y'all. These
No,
are
you
my
good.
sisters, as Dale already said in the intro. So y'all just gonna have to forgive me as I just talk. Now, does Winn Dixie still have the Winn Dixie low prices? Is that still the theme song? Do you remember that though?
Not anymore.
Got it. That was my whole childhood. I love Winn Dixie.
They when I was there, they got bought out by Southeastern Groceries, I believe, and they changed a lot of stuff. But the main thing I can remember is we had this little campaign where you had to it was Cooking with Curtis. It was a shelf. Y'all probably know him. Y'all saw him on TV. It was Curtis. I can't remember his last name. But it's a running joke. We always used to say we cooking with Kirk. So that's the only thing that I remember from them.
I see the CVS and Walgreens wars in the comments.
I'm Walgreens. I'm Team Walgreens.
Yes.
I'm with
I'm
you,
in
Yasmin.
between. I can't. I'm non-committal. I can't.
Now my sister has a lot of CVS points, so she'll be like, "It's $30 on the CVS thing." So I go and I spend all her money, and I come out like spending $0. So I'm here for her CVS points, but no, it's a no.
I'm in between. I have CVS points are they come in handy, but yeah, I don't know. I can't
I
commit. I'm
didn't
just
even know
gonna
they
have to
had
be on the
points.
fence.
I never go to CVS. I didn't even know they had points.
They have points, dollars off, all that. So I just
Yeah.
went to there and stocked up on stuff. But my first job was at my high school library. So they used to pay us to work in like the library or help teachers or the auto shop because they used to auction off cars or the front office. So yeah, I mean it was minimum wage now. We wasn't balling, but
Oh,
we used to
good
work an hour
though.
or two, but it still, came in handy. So that was my very first job. And I
We got
really
to do
liked
stuff like that in high school, but it was like a credit. Like they
it.
wasn't
Oh,
paying
okay.
us. They should have been paying us. It's not fair.
Yeah, they paid us. So last question, and Yasmin, you can start this one. Then we'll get into the actual interview questions. When are you most relaxed?
I am most relaxed. Oh, great question. If I'm taking a nap, obviously you're relaxed, but I love a nap. If I'm watching HGTV, I am so happy. I am so happy. Or any of my reality TV shows. And then
Mm,
lastly, I'm sorry, y'all. I am relaxed. Honestly, once I'm on YouTube live, like on my channel, I dread it and it's anxiety because I gotta go on. I want to comb my hair and get dressed. But once I'm on there, I'm like, I love this. This is what I do.
yeah. What about you, Shay?
See, the first thing I thought of is at the end of the night when I lay down in bed and I have my YouTube on and I just drift off to sleep. That's when I'm the most relaxed.
Mm, that's good. See, my nights be ending chaotically, so I can't even say I'm most relaxed because Christian be doing the most. But I would say I'm most relaxed. Definitely reality TV, which is weird. Like right now, I'm watching Love and Marriage DC, and I'm just like watching it, and I'm chill. And I
Gotta
actually
get
know one of the cast members on there, but that's a whole nother, that's a whole nother live stream or conversation. But also with my lives, because this is like my family. Like I feel like we're in my living room just chilling. So I look forward to this. Definitely great answers, ladies. Good job, good job. So now we're gonna get into the interview questions, and you guys can feel free to ask questions in the chat or anything like that. So Yasmin, we'll start with you, and then Shay, you can answer. Both of you guys, tell us who you are. Who is Yasmin? Who is Shay? What do you do? Give us a little quick bio.
Cool. So obviously, I am Yasmin Williams Woods. I am a Christian speaker, YouTuber, and writer who is on a fire like mission, like all urgency to help women conquer life and everything it throws at us by leveraging the courageous love of Jesus. And I do that through biblical resources, teachings, speaking events, etc. Obviously, my YouTube channel. And I am a wife and I am a mom of four. I'm just like in love with Jesus. I guess could have been my one and only sentence. I really do love him for real.
Yes, I love to see it. Oh, oh.
You here.
Get thee behind us, devil, not tonight.
I hit the wrong button. Um, but my name is Shantavia Johnson, but most people just call me Shay, and I am the host of Obedience Podcast. I'll keep it simple. Our mission at Obedience Podcast is to obey. I say it all the time at the start of the show, which is an acronym that stands for obeying God. Um, hold on. Yeah. O, being obedient to God. B, believing in God's word. E, evolving through Christ Jesus. And Y, yielding to Holy Spirit. So my mission is just, to get people to grow closer to God, develop a personal relationship with them, and evolve with Him. We don't just have to be stuck in our same lives. So that's who I am.
Amen
And
to that.
sis teaches the word. Oh, she
Yes.
teaches the word.
Y'all both be going in. I'm just like, yes,
Yeah.
get it, sisters.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm like the rebellious sister. I'm gonna address the elephant in the room that nobody else is
When
talking
you
about.
said that, I love that you said that. I'm like, that is literally that encompasses what you do so well. You address the elephant in the room as it pertains to our faith and living out modern day Christianity. I love it.
I love it. And y'all, let me just give you a quick bio as to how we met. So Yasmin was someone I was standing for like a couple of months on YouTube because I was just like, wow, I love her videos. She's so energetic because sometimes I feel like we could be kind of like blah, like just monotone and stuff. And I found her on Instagram and I was like, wow, she's like really funny and just whatnot. And then I think I subscribed or commented on something and she subscribed back, and next thing you know she's like roping me into collabs. And so she was the first person to get me in YouTube collabs. And I met Shay and we just like clicked, and then they had me on their channel. So it's really like sisterhood. Like we really be in these YouTube streets, like just working for the glory of God and doing life together too. Even though we're not local, we really like try to keep in touch and do life together on a personal level. So when did you first realize, and Shay, you could answer this first, when did you first realize that you struggled with anxiety disorder, and what were some of the signs or symptoms you first experienced?
So with me, it like all hit me at once. So it happened back in 2019. If y'all don't know, with my job, I used to travel on the road and I was out all the time. Like it was supposed to be like you got 2 weeks on the road and then 2 weeks home. It was like 4 weeks on the road and like 3 days during the week you were home. So I was literally living out of suitcases and traveling to different hospitals every single week. And actually, at this time, my hospital was California. So the flights weren't even short flights. It was like all day long flights. And, what I do at the hospital, we pretty much implement EHR systems. So it's not a easy job. It's a stress filled job, but I didn't realize I was stressed out at all until I started getting like these little jitters on a plane one time. And I just brushed it off, didn't think anything of it. And then by the time I got to the hotel, I was up all night, fast heart rate. This is weird, but it's possible, y'all. I had diarrhea and I had like symptoms of a heart attack or stroke. And so I ended up going to the emergency room in California. They examined me for all of that and they pretty much found nothing. So I found out I had anxiety by having my first anxiety attack. So that's how I found out. And even then, it took months before I really sat down and accepted, okay, this is anxiety. This isn't anything else, health wise going on with you.
Man.
Well, I love that I don't love that for you, but I love that our stories are so different because it'll show the spectrum of anxiety, because we feel like, oh, if I have anxiety or I suffer with anxiety, I'm going to have this transformative experience such as you had. But no, that's not the case. I think many of us live with mental disorders or mental illnesses without knowing it because it becomes the norm. So for me, I just went through, I had postpartum depression after having the twins, and I briefly took medicine for that. Like 3 times I took the pill. And they say it takes time for, the medicine to acclimate to your body, etc. All the science things y'all know. I know Jesus, not science. So I disagree with that, because I'm telling you, I would take a pill, like I would have these emotions that I could not control, that I just would be negative and frustrated and irritated. But as soon as I took a pill, give me 5 minutes and I'm like, okay, I'm ready. What were we about to do? Let's go. So everybody works differently. But with anxiety, after having postpartum depression, right after having the twins, I realized I had anxiety. The twins were probably 4 at the time. And so Ella Rose was alive and well, all the things. And I just went through a season where I was so impatient. Everything made me yell. Everything, like I was yelling, I was screaming, I was irritated, I was frustrated. I would just snap off, like on my kids, like I just was. And y'all see how I am with my kids now. I'm patient, I'm kind. So I just realized at first it was just like normal. I thought it was normal. And I was like, this is not me. Why am I yelling at like embarrassingly yelling at my children, beating on counters, yelling, flipped out, yelling? And so I was like, okay, something's wrong. And so I shared with my primary care physician just my level of impatience, and she was like, okay, girl, you got anxiety. And yeah.
Man, yeah, mine is kind of in between y'all's. Like, I feel like for many years since college, I kind of just always had an anxious state. I was always on edge, always kind of had like this sort of flight or fight mode going on. But in 2019, when we were preparing to move here, that's when I had an anxiety attack, like full blown. And it was like back to back attacks for like 2 months. And I was like, what is going on with me? Like, I just felt like super scared to live life. I literally felt like you said, like I was about to have a heart attack, or like I wasn't going to wake up if I went to sleep and stuff like that. And it got to the point where my mom had to like come and work with me, because I was already freelancing at that point. So I'll be like, can you come do my shifts with me? I like wanted my son, for those who don't know, I have a 5-year-old son now, but at the time he was like 2. I wanted him to sleep next to me at all times. Like I just was scared at the slightest thing. And if he cried or whined, I was like flipping out, but it was like an emotional outburst. Like I'm crying hysterically and stuff. And so then I was like, yeah, this is because, again, they didn't find anything else physically. So I'm like, yeah, this has to be that. It has to be anxiety. So that was my first experience. And those were some of my signs and symptoms. So real quick in the comments, Carmen Williams said, you're an awesome teacher of the word. Hey, auntie. She's on. Michelle said, I went through that same thing in October 2021. Wow, that's crazy. So I had symptoms of a heart attack and got all these examinations and everything came back and they said it was just stress and anxiety. Yeah, so that's a very, very good sign and symptom for those watching. If you find that that's happening, it could be a good indication, but of course, seek a medical, professional's advice. So did your symptoms, Yasmin, get worse over time? And have you experienced, other symptoms since then?
I would say retrospectively, once I understood anxiety and officially received the diagnosis, I went back to like college days of like, oh, like when I was jittery, when I was on edge, when I just couldn't channel what was happening to me physically. Anxiety is a very physical thing. It's an emotional mental disorder, but it shows up physically. I was able to see previous points in my life where I was navigating anxiety unknowingly. And so since the diagnosis, will you pose the question again?
Yeah, I said, did your symptoms get worse over time, and did you experience them other symptoms since the first time you noticed?
No, my symptoms have not gotten worse and did not get worse. For me, like when I saw something was wrong and I just was not myself, I did something about it. I sought professional help and nipped that right in the bud. So no, they haven't gotten worse.
Okay. What about you, Shay?
So when in 2019, like once I accepted that it was anxiety, I did get better. Because of what happened to me in California, I had like a fear of traveling again. So I worked my way back and I was able to travel. But as soon as I got back on the road, y'all, I went on the road in February 2020. And we all know what happened March 2020. COVID hit. So as soon as I worked my nerves back up to get back on the road, COVID hit. And that's when my anxiety was like at the highest level. And so it did come back and it came back like 10 times worse. Like at this point, like I wasn't eating. I had that same experience with you where I slept in the room with my mom and I was like, can you just watch me breathe to make sure I continue breathing? Because it got that bad. And so my mama, she actually forced me to go to my primary care doctor because she said I was moving like a zombie and she couldn't handle it anymore. And that's when I did have to get on anxiety medication at that point because it was just that bad.
Wow. And if you don't mind me asking, do you still take the medication route or have you switched since then?
I do. Right now, I'm in the process of trying to get off. It's a like a weaning process that I have to take. So I actually last month I got the it's a I think it's like the 5 milligram I want to say, but it's like a lower dose of what I had before. So I'm weaning myself off slowly because I think I'm at a good point now where I don't want to be on the medication. I have no problem with it, but I don't want to take something every single day. So I am in the weaning process right now. So keep me in your prayers, y'all.
Absolutely. And even though this isn't a question, I do kind of want to piggyback off of that. Like, what are you guys' personal stances on taking medication for anxiety?
Yeah, so I feel like Shay, I didn't have increasing symptoms or reoccurring. I mean, I still navigate anxiety, which we're gonna get into from time to time. But I think it was because I was prescribed medicine right away.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, I am team medicine. I am team like if God has provided a solution to help you to thrive, to live the life that he's called you to do, why would you not access that resource? Is the way I look like. And I feel like it is my moral obligation to to leverage all of the resources that he's given me. I owe it to my children. I owe it to those who are impacted by my purpose. Like I have to take the medicine. Now I did, but I don't, to finish my answer to the question, I don't like taking medicine. I just, I told y'all I took the medicine for my postpartum depression 3 times. For the anxiety, I was on anxiety medication. I was on for half a year. I am very, which is how ultimately my channel was kind of birthed, because I'm very like concrete, actionable. Jesus, what does your word say that I can do to navigate this and to have the lifestyle that you've promised? So I just try to find other coping mechanisms outside of medicine because I can't do it. I can't, but I am team.
I'm like you, Yasmin. I do not like taking medicine every day, especially with all the other medication I take, because I suffer with like I would say moderate. No, I don't want to say severe. I don't know the word right under it, but I have asthma, and it's something that I have to take medication for every single day. So the anxiety medicine is just the extra medicine. And I don't want to have to take something every single day. And plus, I'm not really comfortable with my body being hooked to something, because I don't know if y'all ever experienced this with taking anxiety medicine, but if I had like missed a dose, I could feel myself like being woozy and kind of like dizzy, and I didn't like that. And when I told my doctor about it, she was like, "Oh yeah, your body's used to it." And I was just like, "Oh no, I need to get off of this." But my therapist, she did explain to me that it's kind of just like if your body's used to coffee or something like that. But still, I was like, I don't want to be addicted to any kind of medicine. But I know it works because when I got bad during the pandemic, that was the only thing that balanced me out, because I have physical symptoms when I have anxiety. But even when I would take my medicine, I still would suffer with it, like my anxiety, but I wasn't physically affected by it. So that's why I do believe in it, because it can come up physically, like you mentioned, and sometimes you just need something to get rid of those physical symptoms that you're having.
Absolutely. And I concur everything you ladies said. I haven't gotten to the point where I've taken anxiety medicine, but I'm not opposed to it. Like if I get to that point, I will take it. But like you, Shay, I have other illnesses that basically at this point you could say are chronic, that do affect my life in other ways. So I do have to take medications for that, and those are like pills I have to take. Otherwise, it's like you take a pill or you got to go the needle route. So I'm just like, we gonna take the pill. So but I'm like, team, do whatever you got to do, because it's just like, if someone has diabetes, for instance, and they have to take like metformin as a popular prescription for that, it helps to regulate your blood sugar, and it helps to keep you living in a way where you can live a longer, healthier life with proper management and stuff like that. And so just like I've been saying throughout this whole series, like mental illnesses are the same as our physical illnesses. If there's medication there to help you, then there's nothing wrong with taking that. And so I don't want those of us, especially those of us as believers, to look down on someone, or if you are in those shoes, to feel worse about yourself, like, dang, I got to take medication, I'm just not faithing it hard enough or whatever. Like, it's totally fine, because like Yasmin said, God provides us resources in many different ways, and he's Lord over everything. So he can use that medication, he can use the therapist, he can use the doctors, he can use whoever he needs to use to put your life in a track where it needs to be for his glory and for his will for your life. So we all have mentioned that we've had anxiety or well, have you guys had panic attacks? Because I'm throwing it in there, even though it's slightly different. But if you have, let me know if you have, and feel free to just kind of like dive in a little bit more to how those experiences were for you. And did you feel an onset come on, or like how did it all work for you?
Well, I would say I've had one panic attack, and it was because the hospital was freaking me out. When I first was going through everything in 2019, I went to like every single emergency room in the city, and one time they wanted to give me just put an IV in, and for some reason when it got in me, I was not having it. I felt like I was finna die, and I was just like trying to snatch everything out of me. And they were trying to like, no, you can't go. But I would say that's like the only time that it was like a panic feeling. But the rest of the time, I've had things like that. It's more so anxiety, because when I have my anxiety attacks, my mama, she always can tell. I stare off. Like I'll be looking at the wall for about 20 minutes and have no idea I'm looking at the wall. I remember one time my uncle, he was here when I was having one, and he was like, the wall isn't going anywhere. And I was like, oh, huh? Because I was in my own little world. So that's how my anxiety attacks happen. And that's the thing. Most anxiety attacks, you won't even know somebody's having it just because they're quiet, or they may be doing just like, um, breaking their nails off, like something that's not like what you would think panic, but inside like turmoil is going on. So that's how my anxiety attacks appear. And I have like a high heart rate. My heart rate would get really high. And if my heart rate gets high and stays consistently high, that's when I start getting like those physical things like chills, and then the diarrhea will come, and then I won't eat. So that's what my anxiety attacks look like.
Yeah, so I don't recall, kind of as I mentioned earlier, I haven't had an anxiety attack from my understanding of anxiety attack or panic attack. I love that Michelle posed that question. I feel like Shay's question or response answered it. But so I haven't had an anxiety attack since college. And I've only able to identify that as an anxiety attack with my knowledge now. And what that looked like for me, very similar to what Shay said, was the diarrhea, was the increased heart rate, and for me, like inability to breathe, and having like feeling like the breath is literally knocked out of your body, or you're racing to try to catch your breath and keep up with your breath, even though in those cases, like I was seated, and the onset was always stress, and just this fear of failure, and this pressure, this need to perform and need to succeed, all the things of this world that we're not supposed to conform to. That's why he tells us.
Okay, Get us together, sis. So Michelle said, good parallel. We take medication for physical illnesses. It's the same for mental, exactly. And can you tell the difference between panic and anxiety attacks? So just off the top of my head, which I did pull it up as you guys were talking about, off the top of my head, panic attacks, from my understanding, are more sudden. They're harder to pinpoint and they don't last as long. And anxiety attacks tend to be more gradual in the onset and they're typically triggered by something. But I do have the the two definitions here. So I'm gonna pull it up really quick, just really, really quick.
You better come on with the exact answer. I love it.
And this is from Medical News Today. So it says panic and anxiety attacks both cause a rapid heart rate, shallow breathing, and a sense of distress. However, they typically differ in severity and cause. Panic attacks are often more intense and can occur with or without a trigger, while anxiety attacks are a response to a perceived threat. People often use the terms interchangeably, excuse me, but they're not the same. These type of attacks have different intensities and durations. Some symptoms of anxiety have links to mental health conditions, including obsessive compulsive disorder, trauma, et cetera, et cetera. Panic attacks mainly affect those with panic disorder. So sometimes you can have both, sometimes it's either one. But just this chart real quick that they say panic attacks, again, typically occur with a trigger, but can occur without one. Symptoms typically occur suddenly. They are disruptive and may involve a sense of detachment, and they typically subside after a few minutes or a shorter amount of time. Whereas anxiety attacks are a response to a perceived stressor or threat. Feelings of anxiety may build gradually over time. Excuse me, y'all, sorry. Symptoms can vary in intensity from mild to severe, and they may prevail for longer periods. And so that's very much my experience with anxiety, because I can feel when an anxiety attack is coming on now. Now that I know that it's anxiety, I start to feel the buildup of like, I'm slowly but surely stressed. I do kind of have a feeling of detachment, even though that's listed under panic attacks. I feel like it can be attributed to some anxiety attacks as well, because I do start to feel like a sense of like detachment. I start to feel very overwhelmed. And then over time, day by day, it gets to a point where I'm like really overwhelmed, to the point where, like you, Shay, I'm not eating. I don't even want to go to sleep. I want to be supervised, like, all of that. And I'm just very lethargic. In my anxiety attacks, most of the time, I'm very lethargic. I have experienced some panic attacks, but that's rare. Mostly mine are anxiety, and they do build up, and they tend to last a while. By the time I get to an anxiety attack, it's lasting me at least a couple of days, like at least 4 or 5 days, and sometimes as long as like 2 months, like a month or two. So, it can be a long time. And I've learned how to cope with it in other ways. But if I ever got to a very extreme point where I can't manage, like I said, I would definitely seek the medication route. So Shay, you can start with this one. Do you feel anxiety disorder is taken as seriously as other mental illnesses, and why or why not?
So I would say kind of. And the reason I say that is because a lot of people, like they say, they'll use quick, oh, I have anxiety, or oh, I'm anxious about this. But when we really talk about, I feel like there's a difference between being anxious about something and then having anxiety. And I think a lot of people, when they think anxiety, they just think about how they feel when they feel anxious about something. Like before this live, it was like, oh yeah, I feel a little anxious about getting on live. But once you start the live, that goes away. Like you said, anxiety can last for so long. So I feel like people are aware of anxiety, but I feel like it needs to be more well known, and that there's a difference between being anxious and actually having anxiety.
That's good. What about you, Yasmin?
Yeah, along the same lines, I think I agree fully with what Shay said, but I also would just answer the question differently, in that I don't think culturally or as a society we take um anxiety as serious as other mental illnesses. And it's because, as you were saying, it's a norm. Like, oh, you just stressed, you'll be all right. It's just you going through a lot right now, or it's a busy season for you. So we just expect people to be okay. I think, which is why in college I didn't deal with the issue then, because it was like, oh, like you're supposed to be stressed, when it's like, no, something is wrong. I think specifically as Black people, we have to understand that, like, it's not normal to be stressed. It's not normal to be sick.
Mm,
It's not normal to have that pain in your back, or all the
mm-mm,
different things that we experience, and then we don't realize until years down the line of like, oh, I've been struggling with high blood pressure, I've been struggling with diabetes, or oh, I had like this cancer was growing inside of me, or I had this heart issue and I didn't know. It's because culturally we are superheroes. We carry the weight of the world, and that's just normal. It's normal for you to do that. But our bodies, like God is so intentional in everything that he does, everything that he creates. So our bodies are created and designed in a way to tell us that, like, hey, something is wrong. So I just want to encourage anybody listening, like, when you feel that increased heart rate, no, talk to your primary care physician. When you can't sleep, when you having attacks or fear, like, it's not normal.
Yeah.
So just, seek help.
Absolutely. And I would say it's really sad. I would say it's probably not taken as seriously. So I guess I can say I'm agreeing with both of you. But it is one of the most, if not the most common mental illness. Because when I was looking it up, it is it's stated on several sources that it is the most prevalent. So over 40 million adults in the U.S., like working age adults, deal and cope with anxiety. But it's become, like you said, yes, I love what you brought up about culture and just like the community, because when you get into different subsets of communities and cultures and whatnot, it definitely can be amplified because, like you said, in the Black community, we have normalized trauma and stress and being burdened and overwhelmed. Like, it's like, this is just what we do. Like, we're strong people. We got it. And it's like, no, like, you don't have to be carrying that. Like, you shouldn't be dealing with that. And it should not be normal. And so I feel like in my experience, a lot of people think that you're kind of being extra when you're going through an anxiety attack. Like, is it really that deep? Like, you're saying you can't do this. You're saying you can't do, like, come on, sis, you got this, you strong, you can carry this. Like, no, like, I really cannot leave the house right now. Like, I can, but like, it's a battle for me. Like, I need you to walk through this with me, So I think that we definitely need to be more sensitive to it when people are saying, like, you know what, this is my boundary. Like, this is why people have boundaries. Or right now, I can do this task, but it's really taking a lot out of me. So instead of me trying to be a super high performer right now, maybe I need to pace this out and just space it out and take my time. So it's not that I'm being lazy or complacent, but I just need to pace myself so I can get the wiggle room and the breather, so I'm not stressed out, so that I don't get to an anxiety attack. So yeah, that's how I kind of feel about that. So Michelle says she gets very much irritable, overwhelmed, short with everyone due to stress, and it's a buildup. That's how I know I have an anxiety attack coming. Exactly. And Yasmin, you agreed. Benedicta said definitely connect to your perspective, Yasmin. Amazing. And then Michelle also said, I feel a little bit more liberated to hear y'all talk about this because Michael is the only person I have told, because my family and people around me don't take it seriously. Like, it's not that deep. Having anxiety and going to therapy is not necessary because I'm not crazy. Yeah, and that's another thing. Let's normalize therapy and professional mental health. Like, this whole, oh, I don't need therapy, I'm not crazy. The people that I know that say that the most need to be booking the next appointment. I'm like, bro, I'm gonna call for you because you need it. Like, or sis, I got you. So it's like, you're not crazy for seeing a therapist. And I've said this throughout the series too. It's like, a lot of times we feel like, well, I haven't had any major occurrences. I haven't had any major tumultuous situations in life. But it's like, I thoroughly believe we all need therapy. And this is why I'm a huge advocate for it being more accessible. And I talked about that and all that. But praise God for resources. So there are resources out there, and Google is your friend. And of course, if you need help, there's me and other people who you could reach out to. So do you feel wait, I already said that. Sorry, y'all. Scroll down. What are some adjustments you've had to make in your life to better manage the anxiety? And Shay, actually, Yasmin, you can start with this. I feel like I've been starting with Shay a lot.
Because I talk so much. So I just want to respond to people think you're crazy because you go to, or I go to therapy because I'm crazy. It's like, no, if you don't go to therapy, you're crazy. You're crazy to think we can live in such a broken world and experience so much. I don't care if your life is perfect. Everything's been handed to you on a silver spoon. If you are Black in America, you have dealt with trauma. You have dealt with oppression. You have dealt with abuse and manipulation and rejection and all these things. And you need to go to therapy. It's like everybody needs to go to the doctor. Everybody needs to go to the grocery store because you need food. You need healthcare. You need, I'm sorry, I'm going to answer your question, but it's just like our minds, like our minds is the devil's playground. And it's like we have to control our mind. We have to keep our thoughts on Jesus Christ. We have all these biblical principles around our mind. Why would we think we do not need professional help in protecting our mind? This is what you think. What you think dictates your actions, and your actions dictate your outcome. So if I don't guard this, then my life is going to produce a whole hot mess. So first and foremost, I need to prioritize taking care of my mind. I cannot stress it enough. So I'm sorry. What did you ask me again? That's probably why you didn't start with
No,
me.
go ahead and help us, sis. Get us together. I was like, yes, y'all better drop your Cash App so people.
Which I don't have, which is why congrats to Michelle for winning the cash giveaway the other night. I wasn't even trying that hard to guess my number because I was like, I ain't got
those
Cash
are fighting
App
words. Those are fighting words.
Me, Michelle, and I stay fighting in your lives. It's our love. It's how
Can't
we
have
love
a
each other.
game night without y'all.
Yeah. But I'm so sorry. Pose the question again because I went somewhere else.
The Holy Spirit was working. So the question was, what are some adjustments you've had to make in your life to better manage anxiety?
Which I love what you said about boundaries. For me, I've had to create boundaries and understand that it's a life or death situation. Like I gotta keep my phone on do not disturb. I literally have to, or I'm gonna get overwhelmed by all the notification. I have to say no. I can't do what I don't want to do. And when I say in my videos all the time, like I can't care, I literally cannot care, or I'm gonna get sick. I'm gonna get overwhelmed. I'm gonna experience anxiety, and I'm gonna snap off on you. So, there are so many things that I can't do. I've had to make adjustments in terms of my boundaries. Another thing I will say concretely, I have to just say how I feel. And that's with my kids, and everybody's like, mommy's not talking right now. And this is why. I need you to do this. And this is why. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed right now. And this is why. I have to tell you, because if I don't, you're going to keep on talking to me or pressing my buttons or doing whatever. Then I'm going to have to snap. So those are just two simple ways that I've had to adjust.
What about
Can I just say, I just love the way you parent. I'm so glad that you have all these resources for when it's time for me to become a mama, because I kind of want to do that same thing. I want to express what's going on with me because I have a lot of stuff going on inside of me at times. But the biggest thing that I've had to adjust in my life when it comes to anxiety, and to go back to the whole therapy thing, this is why I think therapy is so essential, because it points out the things that you just don't know. Like, these are trained professionals. They've studied this. This is stuff that your grandma just don't know. I had to identify what causes my anxiety. And the biggest cause of my anxiety was the what if. If I started to think about the what if, that's when the anxiety would increase. That is why it got so bad during COVID, because I was stuck on what if I get it? What if my family members get it? And I had to learn how to navigate and get rid of that what if. And that really, getting rid of that what if, it really had to do with me trusting in God more. And so I have to bring up that, of course, because that's how this podcast even came about. Because when all of that started, that's when I got in my word. That's when I developed a closer relationship with God. And if I see myself not having my quiet time as much, I see my anxiety building up a little bit more. So I have to have my quiet time. I have to spend time with God, my alone time with Him. And I have to pray to Him, and then I have to trust in Him. So no matter what happens, I'm not worried about that what if, because I know at the end of the day, He has me.
Amen to that. And I love what you said, Michelle, about boundaries as an empath. Because listen, I'm an empath. I believe you're one too, and both of y'all are, right? Both of y'all are empaths.
I don't think I am.
She said, "Don't speak that over my life." She said, "Don't speak that."
No, I'm not. That's good for you. I'm such an empath. Most of my stress is not even my stress. It is what I feel everybody else is carrying. That's why I have no.
And the church that I'm going to Bible study at, the pastor there, he said being an empath is really a useful gift for those of us who are prone to intercessory being intercessories. And I'm like, yo, that's so true. Cause I really be feeling, like you said, I be feeling people's feelings. And it's like, oh yeah, my feelings. And so boundaries are a must. Cause I go all in. Like there's no gray area for me. If you need something, I'm like, boop, I'm all in. And so saying no, boundaries are a must. And also, I was having this conversation on Saturday with a friend I went out with, and I was like, I'm not very spontaneous as I've gotten older and realized that I struggle with anxiety because the spontaneity was stressing me out even more. And then it was throwing me off of like my little patterns. So I'm not like a type A person. I'm not super, super structured. I know I be capping online and y'all be like, y'all so organized, but trust me, like I'm a very free spirit. But I do have my little structures throughout the day where it's like, if nothing else, those are my goalposts. So I know if nothing else, I'm gonna pray and read the word. If nothing else, I'm going to listen to my worship music. If nothing else, I'm going to drink my water and watch a YouTube video or whatever. So if I don't hit as many of those goalposts or all of them like I want, then it becomes a domino effect. So if I'm up late doing foolishness, I don't wake up in time to pray and get in the word, I feel it, maybe not right away on the first day, but by that second, third, fourth day, I'm feeling it and I'm all the way off track, And then if I set a goal and I don't make it, like I say, I'm gonna get up early, read the word, pray, do a walking workout. I don't get to the word and praying, then I don't do the workout and I'm rushing out the door to get Christian to his appointments or whatever. I don't get to make my breakfast like I said I wanted to, and the whole day just goes off track. And so now I'm anxious, I'm snappy, beating myself up, I'm feeling like a failure. And then it just starts to get even worse because not only do I struggle with anxiety, I can be I'm definitely an overachiever and I'm a perfectionist. I can be a perfectionist. And so then I'm like, oh, well, your week's getting off to a bad start. It's Monday. The schedule, the agenda's already down the drain. So why even try for tomorrow? Like you might as well not even try, and it's just like a bad ripple effect. So, and I'm just like all over the place. So yeah, I definitely feel you with that. I've had to definitely make adjustments, get my alone time. That's why I like Uber Eats. Customers be getting on my nerves sometimes and stuff, but that's my time to myself with my music, with my YouTube, whatever. Like I need that time alone, And so Michelle said the same thing, taking moments for herself. I hate it sometimes because I feel like I should always be available to Michael and the kid. Listen, that mom guilt, and I'm not a wife yet, okay, but it's definitely real. And I'm sure, Yasmin, you could probably speak to that. Like if you've had to learn how to be okay taking your alone time and not feeling like you always have to be there, but that's very real. That's very real. So trusting God, absolutely. Most of my stress is not even my stress. That's so true. Yeah, as you mentioned, that endless to list in the last video of yours that spoke to me. Yeah, like we on the right. Praise saints, touch and agree. So what are some triggers that you've noticed make your anxiety worse? So you can start again, Yasmin. I think you both have mentioned some, but feel free to mention them again.
For me, I am a perfectionist. I'm gonna answer the question right out the gate this time. But like the remaining trigger is time. Like if I just the other day, and I know my mom is like, oh my goodness, like I thought my child had been delivered because if I feel like I'm about to be a second late, I'm on 10. Yeah, I went off on Ella Rose the other day, and I like felt bad because I said, Sean, never in the history of her life have I ever gone off on her. Now my other kids, they've all got it because I didn't have the anxiety pills before them. But Ella Rose never. I went off because we were gonna be late to dance for a whole hot mess. So anything around time, like my anxiousness is high, my nerves are high, I'm freaking out, and I don't even know. I haven't figured out why that causes me so much fear. Like, what am I afraid of? I don't even know. But anything around time.
That's good. What about you, Shay?
I would have to say, going back to the what if, anything regarding something that I don't know how, like what the outcome is going to be, it like takes me over. And I don't know why. I mean, because it's stuff in life that you're not going to know about. But if I haven't experienced it, or I don't know somebody who has experienced it, is always just like, what if this happens? What if that happens? But with that what if, me, like I said, turning my life over to God and just knowing that He will make sure I'm okay. My therapist also gave me a good tactic, and especially when I was traveling, because I will always be like, well, what if I get really sick? She had me plan for that what if. She's like, okay, if you get really sick, then do you know the hospital? Do you know how you're going to get to the hospital, how close the hospital is? So that has helped me out too. But I think the biggest thing is what if. That's when those big anxiety moments pop in for me.
Yeah, I would say mine is a little bit of the what ifs because time, y'all know your girl stays late, and I'd be cool with that. I'd be like, hey,
Me too.
I think that's a cultural thing because Caribbean people are always late. Like that's bad. We're always late. So that's a cultural thing. But I would say for me, it's going back to being an overachiever. So if y'all caught the live with ROSLYN on the 12th, I think it was, she was saying how we can bite off more than we can chew, and that can end up ruining our mental state because now we're like, I'm gonna do this whole mountain of stuff, and you know you can't get to it realistically speaking, but you do the most. And you know, high achievers and perfectionists are prone to this. And I was like, that is me all day. Like I want to do the most. I don't want to take little baby steps. I want to go straight from 0 to 1,000, you know. And I'm like, I can do it. And then when I don't do it, now I'm anxious. Now I'm like beating myself up. Now I'm in a tizzy, and I'm just like I'm not gonna do anything. And then I procrastinate because that's another side effect of perfectionism, procrastination and stuff like that. So that is a big one for me. And then also when I was researching like just other more, I guess, uncommon triggers for anxiety, I saw where they said like tangible stuff could trigger it. So maybe like a certain feeling of something, like a material, or even like a smell or a sound or a location or a song. You know, it could bring back like, I guess, memories or experiences that can trigger you and send you into an anxiety attack or an anxiety spiral. So I was like, that's really good. So when I think of that, I would say definitely some music, because music is a huge part of my life, and a lot of good situations, but also very traumatic situations have been centered around music. So if I hear certain songs, especially, and I know the ladies can agree to this, like after you go through a breakup and you and your man had a song or whatever the case may be, and you hear that song again and you just like, oh no, like he did me dirty. So that definitely can be one for me for sure. But yeah, it's a mix of things, and you guys could Google it. It's like a whole list of different triggers for anxiety. So I just have to be careful.
I want to respond. Before you go to the next question, I'm sorry, because something both you said really resonated with me. Like when you said the tangible things. So, you know, last year we had a whole legal situation. It was around marijuana. I haven't shared that. And
I think Yasmin might have froze on us.
Uh-oh. Am I still good?
Yeah, you're still good.
Okay.
Yasmin, if you can hear us, I think you froze.
Well, while we're waiting on her, I did think of another trigger of mine for my anxiety. It's like the all of a sudden type thing. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I think it kind of like it hits back on what you said. Like if somebody calls me and it's like, hey, do you want to go here? It's like, no, like it's Tuesday. I have my Tuesday routine. No, I can't do that. And so anything out of the ordinary, it always messes me up and causes me so much anxiety. Don't let somebody just like randomly show up at my house. Oh no.
Listen.
I'm not moving. No.
I can't do it. I cannot do it. Like Frances says she looks majestic. I don't know what happened, but you did look majestic. But we're here. If you click the link and come back in, I'll add you in because we still got more questions. But yeah, like the spontaneity, when I was younger, like up until I started experiencing anxiety in college, I was spontaneous. Like my mom would be like, I want to go out. I'm like, yes, I'll be there in 2 hours. Now I'm like, oh no, like, you know.
Yeah, I have to tell my friends and my family, I'm like, if you need me to do something or you want me to do something with you, I need 2 to 3 business days. Yes. Just like a business, 2 to 3 business days. That's what I need.
Why did I have that talk with my mom today? Because I took her to her second appointment, her second doctor's appointment this week. And my mom was notorious for telling me last minute, because she'd be telling me the day of the appointment. So I don't remember that. I got to keep up with all this other stuff. And then she'll be like, oh, you know, I got an appointment tomorrow. And I'm like, what? I already planned my day. Like, what do you mean you have an appointment?
Oh, no. Mama would have had to reschedule that one.
So today, after her appointment, she comes in the door in the car. She's like, "Oh, my next appointment is August 17th," and I'm just like, "We're getting a whiteboard calendar, and you're gonna write all this stuff down because I don't want you August 15th or 16th talking about I got a doctor's appointment. I done planned my whole week out." I'm just like, my day is not what I planned for it to be.
Nope. 2 to 3 business days, and it goes back to boundaries. And yes, Michelle, business days.
Yes, business
not the
days.
weekdays.
So off Saturday and Sunday.
Mm-hmm. So if you ask me something Friday, I'll get back in touch with you Monday and let you know.
Okay. It's real out here. I'm like, no, ma'am, we're not doing that. We are not doing it. Yeah,
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Oh, there she goes.
I was like,
OMG, y'all. OMG. I'm so sorry. That was so funny looking back at my picture. I was like, take me out of the room. I look a mess. Woo. I guess God was like, look, we're not telling this story right now. So I'm just going zip. Be quiet.
Spirit was like, nope.
Yes, but long story short, I can definitely tangible things that's real what you shared, Dale. And then Shay on control. I think that is why time freaks me out, because y'all who know me know that I'm like, every second has a purpose. I know how long the task is going to take. If that gets done quicker, I got 3 other tasks that are small tasks that I can finish in that time. Like my day, like every dollar matters, every minute matters is how I operate. So when it's late, when we're running behind, it's like I've lost control. And y'all, this is all a lie of the enemy. We are not in control. Anxiety is fear. So it's from the enemy, and it's us trying to control. Is our flesh not submitted to God, not just trusting him, like Shay was saying. It's just a whole hot sinful mess.
Mm-hmm. It is. And yeah, I definitely agree with you. Those boundaries and just knowing like what your thing is and working around that, it goes a far, far way. Michelle said I was thinking that too. God said, but
because I was like, I haven't shared this, and God was like, and you're not gonna do it.
You're not not tonight, sis.
Got it.
But Frances had me weak when she said you look majestic. Y'all are cutting up in the comments. But okay, so the next question, one of my favorite Bible passages is Matthew 6:25-33, because it just reminds us to not be anxious or worried, because ultimately we know God is going to take care of everything we need and then some, So have you ever had a moment where you were disappointed or angry with yourself for still battling with anxiety? Although, us being Christian women, we understand we can put our trust in God. We understand he got us, but here we are still battling with this. Like, have you ever had a moment where you're like, why am I still dealing with this? Like, what's wrong with me? Shay, you can start.
Yeah, I definitely have. Going back to the COVID experience, because in 2019, like I told y'all, I had worked past the anxiety issues. I was back traveling, and I had got baptized. I joined the church. So I'm just like, I'm good, right? And then COVID hit, and I'm just like, why is all these like anxious feelings coming back, and then like 10 times worse? I'm worse than I was before. And I was just like, why am I not feeling this peace that other people are feeling? I'm listening to sermons. I'm just like, I'm not feeling nothing. I even went to TJ's. I was just like, I am not feeling nothing. Like, I am not getting peace about this situation. And so with that bout of anxiety, I really felt like I was a fake Christian. And it took me a minute to get over that, because in my mind, I'm just like, I said I dealt with that, God delivered me from it, and here it's coming back. So something's wrong with me. Something's wrong with my faith. And so I think that's the only time I've really just been upset with myself, and I had to work and process through that.
That's good.
And I would say, no, because I deal with anxiety often. It's just like I know how to navigate it now. I do, however, feel times when I lose to anxiety is going to come. It's how I respond to it, which is like, okay, I'm cool. It's here, but I'm cool. I got you, God. But when I relent to the anxiety and I snap and I go off, I with the Ella Rose thing, I felt so bad. Like, how did I do that? Why did I do that? But prior to that, when I lose to anxiety, it doesn't bother me, because I'm like, that's why Jesus died right there. So come on, let me repent. Let
Mm.
me, like, I use up all his grace and mercy.
Yes, I know that's right. Michelle said literally every minute matters, every second has a job. It's so bad for me because the moment something comes up, I just get so in a panic. I think that's where my free flow, free spirited nature comes into play because I can't do like the block scheduling and stuff. Like I because most times what my day consists of is gonna take up my day anyway. But I leave wiggle room for not even spontaneity, but just going with whatever I feel
Life.
led to do. Yeah. So I leave that. But I would say for me, as far as the question is concerned, I definitely have beat myself up because when I started coping and accepting the fact that I battle with anxiety, this is around the same time that I was dealing with all of that like spiritual manipulation and stuff that I shared in my live on Sunday about just, not feeling saved enough because I don't have the gift of tongues and this and that. And it was like a lot of people just constantly like, well, just have more faith, just pray a little harder, just this, just that. And so I was like, dang, like, and all of those things combined actually led to me wanting to leave the faith altogether. Like, y'all, when I say I was this close, like that emoji where it's like this and the finger is like a millimeter, like I was that close away from leaving because I was just like, this is too much. Like, it just felt all so performative. And I'm just like, maybe I'm not saved. Maybe this is just, maybe I'm not God's child. I'm just going to keep it rolling and just live life. And so I beat myself up for a little while about that. And then I got to the point where I was like, well, and diving back again into the Bible, especially on our group reading and stuff, it just helped me to really understand that God is sovereign over everything. So even the things that we struggle with, even the things that are not pretty and, Instagram worthy or whatever, it's all for his will. And it brings a sensitivity to mental illness for me. Like I've always been prone to care about it, even from a young age. But now that I'm walking through it, and now that like other things I've experienced, being a single mom and this and that, like these things bring a level of sensitivity that now not only can I relate to someone who's walking through it, but I can minister to them in a different way where it can resonate and God can use me. So now I don't beat myself up. That's why I'm super transparent about everything that I deal with and that I battle with. And I don't feel like my battle with anxiety means I trust God any less. I feel like it makes me trust him more because I have to. Because it's like, I mean, what else am I going to do? Like, So I feel like my hope and trust is just magnifying him because it's like, even with it all, I could get on here and share my battles with the whole wide world internet. Like, so it is what it is. So COVID exposed a lot of people's mental states. Yeah, and it definitely increased it too. It made a lot of cases go up. I felt like that because I believed in God that I shouldn't be so anxious and stressed, constantly overwhelmed. Like I needed to pray harder, even though it's a struggle because I feel like I shouldn't go through it as often. Yeah, I feel like we definitely, thank you, sis. I feel like we definitely need to have a sensitivity to it. As believers, we're making strides, but we definitely still need to have a sensitivity and watch what we say too, because you telling me that I'm not praying hard enough and I don't have enough faith just gave me anxiety. Now I'm anxious all over again. Like, so it's like that didn't help. Like, sis, what are we doing? That's not it. So leaning on God definitely helps, Benedicta. So what is one specific way your faith has helped in your journey with anxiety? And Yasmin, you could start this one.
It's helped just kind of what you were alluding to in terms of the grace for others, but also the grace for myself, and realizing that I don't have it all together. I'm not supposed to have it all together. That, like, God, it's just made me so much more dependent on God, which is why I can immediately accept the forgiveness and understand that there's no condemnation. So in addition to like it fueling my faith and my dependence on God, is also extended my grace for others, because I see so clearly how I am a broken hot mess, yet God saves me. And so it helps me understand other people when they're going through, or when they might be battling anxiety, depression, or other mental illnesses that they may not know. So it makes me just an overall better woman of God.
Absolutely. What about you, Shay?
With me, my anxiety, I'm sorry, with me, my faith has really helped my anxiety by realizing that I can really trust in God. That's the really only person that you can trust in. And when I think and ponder, on scriptures like Proverbs 3 and 5 through 6, it makes me realize, okay, why am I bothered about this when I just need to trust in him? That's all I can do. He makes the plans for me. He can make everything right. So just let it go and like let God and say. So that's what my faith has helped me, especially because I'm a what if person.
I
Absolutely.
hear your y'all. I'm sorry. I'm so
No,
sorry, y'all.
go
Y'all know
ahead, sis.
this
You
is me.
go
This is me.
ahead.
But like your question was, how has our faith helped our anxiety? But eventually, and we started out answering the question that way, but we ended at how our anxiety has helped our faith. And I just love
Mm,
that what Satan meant for our harm,
mm,
God is using it for our good. I'm telling you, you mentioned,
Yes.
Jay, that like your podcast was birthed out of your anxiety. My channel
Mm-hmm.
was birthed out of my anxiety, my dependence, and how I see God and my role as a woman of God was birthed out of my anxiety. I mean, he better come on and use every single thing for his glory.
yes.
I'm
Come
here for it.
on. I'm
Yeah.
here for it. I'm here for it too. And I ditto everything that you guys said. So, what are some practical ways that Christians can be supportive and encouraging to those who do struggle with anxiety?
Going back to what you said, like don't tell them that they aren't praying enough. Like that's not a good response.
Listen, you catch me on the wrong day, you might not get a Christ-like response. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, I'm still, God's still working on me, y'all. He's still working on me.
I
But
can't
yeah,
believe people even say that.
When I tell you I was getting verbally beat up like 20,
I believe
yeah,
it.
end of 2020 to
mhm.
2021, I was done. That's why I was like, if this the church, God, I'm done. Like, I know I gave my life to you in 2009, but I'm gone, period.
Give it
Like,
back. Run
so
that life
I'm
back.
just like, I cannot deal with it.
I think practical ways to support someone dealing with anxiety would be, I think, because we don't, or mental illnesses, we don't always know. So the best thing across the board, I mean, I think it's safe to say everybody has some sense of mental illness. If you living on earth,
Listen.
something's wrong. Um, but so I would just say with that, assume the best. We look at, and I need to do this better. We look at people and we get frustrated because they do X, Y, and Z, or because they don't do this, or they're slow at that, or they like take all day on this, or whatever. But there are oftentimes mental illnesses or just life struggles that are contributing to that. But if we live in a place where we automatically assume the best of people, um, I think there's just so much grace in that, and there's healing in that, and there because there's love in that, and love conquers all. So
Mhm.
yeah, just assume the best. That's not concrete. I mean, it can be, but it's not like go outside and jump down the stairs 4 times. But still, it's something concrete that we can do.
And I'm going to piggyback off
Mhm.
the love part too, because I was thinking of that as you were answering, and then you said it, where I'm like, I feel like if we just became a body of believers that truly loved more, and I know that's your whole thing, Yasmin, but seriously, like, because when I think of all the times in my life where I was down bad, where I was really down and out, it's the love of my church family or the love of other people that really kept my hope alive and made me feel like I can make it through. Because I remember even in 2019 when I had that massive anxiety attack that lasted about 2 months, there was this guy that I had known from like a Christian singles Facebook group, and we were just friends, but he had checked up on me because I was kind of ghost for a few days and I wasn't like me at the time in the group. And so he was like, hey, everything cool with you or whatever? And I was just telling him how I was feeling. I didn't know how to verbalize at the time. And he was like, well, let me just pray for you. And when I tell you, he became my prayer partner, like any time of the day, didn't matter. Like, I could text him and be like, hey, can you pray for me? Hey, I'm feeling this way. And I mean, to the point where I would just be crying for no reason, and he would just cover me in prayer, like just get on the phone or send a voice note and send a prayer scripture, and he was never bothered by it. And so I feel like if we just really live our lives in a way where it's like, what can I do for others more so than what can they do for me? How can I help someone? How can I alleviate someone? Even if it's just something small, like praying for them, or it might be something tangible, like, hey, maybe it's a mother that's struggling with balancing all the kids. So let me see how I could go and help her with her kids. Let me,
Yeah.
see how I could help her, maybe go run to the grocery store for her, or help an elderly person in their home, or just really anticipating like people's needs and however you can help. I feel like that can help cover just a multitude of stuff, not even just anxiety, but a multitude of stuff, where overall we become a more loving communal body, and we exemplify how the church should look to the world, because the rest of the world ain't living like that. They're not loving you, they're not anticipating your needs, they're not they're not patient with you. So I feel like if we exhibit that in our actions, then the world's gonna be like, okay, yeah, like these people are different. This is definitely something different, and I need to be a part of what they're a part of. And not only that, but you're ministering to people as well. Like, that's one of the best ways you can minister. So Michelle said, give people grace, especially because we don't always know exactly.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about that too, because like, for instance, how I told you I do the 2 to 3 business days. It's like, extend people grace to know, okay, she's not just like brushing me off. Like, that's her boundary for anxiety. So, okay, she does want to spend time with me, but she has to make sure she's okay before she can even pour into somebody else. And that's something that I need to work on too, because, if somebody's like short tempered with me, I'm like, well, what did I do? Instead of just being like, okay, they probably had a bad day. Let me take time and pray for them and make sure I check on them tomorrow. So just be sure to extend grace to people and get past like you and just think about them, because it's not always about you.
Amen. Okay.
Well, I want to thank you for extending grace to me, because y'all, I owe Sha emails and $30. But she has given me so much grace. So I want to thank you for just practicing what you preach.
No,
And
you're welcome.
Dale, if you don't mind, I want to add like the reminder of life and death is in the power of our tongue. So when we're extending grace, when we are assuming the best of others, can I just add one more tangible thing? Like, be mindful what you're saying to people, even if it's not like negative about them and it's just negative in general. Like, I have like, I get messages to my phone, and there are a couple of people in my life that every time they message, it is negative, whether it's about the world or stuff. It's just like, I can't, not every time. So we have to be mindful of what we say and know that that brings life. You're bringing life to negativity. You're bringing life to, like, just life and death and power. And we have to have space where we can talk about the negative things that we are experiencing, but like, you don't want to always send that to somebody's phone. Hop on the phone, make sure it's a time and a place for that.
Yes, because I could send them in a tizzy, you never know. Michelle said, loving is hard, loving everyone is hard. Amen. But by the grace of God, y'all, by the grace of God. Benedicta said, we all matter. Yes, to extending love. Love really does cover a multitude of sins, like, honestly. Hello, Shamiko. I don't know if you've been here before, but if you haven't, welcome. And I'm glad that you're happy to be here. So last question, and then we will be done, because y'all have been troopers. And if you guys have any more questions, feel free to drop it in the comments real quick. Oh, yes, I have people like that too. Like, for those people, I don't get it right, okay? I don't care if you saw that I read your text. So, just closing out, do you have any closing words of encouragement or advice for the viewers and listeners? And Sha, you could start.
I think I'll just say the biggest thing I think that would have helped me during my really bad anxiety time is just because you have anxiety doesn't mean like you're a fake Christian or you're not enough, because I really battled with that. Just look at what I went through and how God turned the anxiety around to actually make me closer to him. Just think of it like that. Think of the outcome, the greater good that'll come out of it, and not feel so bad on yourself that you are struggling with something that you just feel like, I can pray it away. So just think about that during your anxiety. I think that's what I want to say.
Love it.
And yeah, I just want to echo that. And as we've talked about throughout the night, like, God uses every single thing. Every single thing is providential in your lives. And I know Dale is also going to give us space to plug ourselves. So I'm just going to tie this into my answer right now. But I have a online Bible study, and tonight we meet on Thursdays online from 6 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Sign up, DM me if you want to know more. But so tonight we talked about Elijah and how he got to the point, 1 Kings chapter 19, got to the point where he was telling God in 10 verses 10 and 14 that, like God, I've been loyal to you, and now they're coming after, they want to kill me. And before that, he talks about how, like, he's ready to die. He goes into hiding. He tells God he's ready to die. So he's anxious, he's depressed, and he's, you know, he's having all these emotions that we've discussed tonight. Yet and still, God is still faithful to him. God still hears him. God still cares about him. And God still uses him because he is with Moses in the transfiguration of Jesus all the way in the New Testament, despite him being at a point where he was ready to give up, where he was in hiding. So just be encouraged that God sees you, he cares, he knows you, and he has a plan to prosper you, to give you a hope in the future. And he is going to use that thing for your good and his glory, period. That's my answer.
Period. Yes, it's the period for me.
I love it.
Girl, I am old and tired. Like, and so that's what that was. Like,
we are not old, sis.
Not old and tired.
We are just in our prime. We're like fine wine. We are. But I ditto and agree with everything my amazing sister said. And I just want to reiterate again that, like, as you heard us answering before, that our anxiety journey has helped with our faith. Like, you know, and I just want to reiterate again, too, that God is sovereign. Like, literally, if you open the Bible and you read stories, everybody doesn't have a picture perfect story. And as a matter of fact, a lot of their stories are downright raggedy, ratchet, and ghetto. Okay, but God still used it for his glory. And so he knew from the beginning of time, from when he knitted you in your mother's womb, he knew that you would be up against this obstacle in your life, but it doesn't have to stop you from living. You can still function. You can still be all that God called you to be, and he's going to use it for his glory. And if anything, he might turn it around to where you can now go out and reach back and help other people. So, you know, I just want to encourage you with that. But ladies, thank you guys for answering these questions and the laughs in the chat. Like, we definitely got to do this again because this was a lot of fun. And this is you guys' first time on my channel. I've been on you guys' channels, but I don't think, well, Yasmin, I think you were on before, like once or twice. But this is our first panel with the two of us, and the three of us, so we are cutting up. So I'm here for it. But before we leave, I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and plug your projects, channels, everything. Give us a laundry list. Leave nothing back.
First, I don't have a long list. Just subscribe to the channel. I told y'all I'm the host of Obedience Podcast, so you can find us on all the podcasting platforms and also on social media at Obedience Podcast. But I also put the video version of the podcast on YouTube, on the YouTube channel Obedience Sha. So you can see the podcast there. I'm on the road to 1,000. I'm really close. Been like 120 last. I got a new subscriber. Thank you. But I am on the road to 1,000, so I would gladly appreciate if y'all share out and tell your people to subscribe. But on my channel, like I said, the podcast is on there. Makeup and Ministry is coming back. If y'all watch the podcast, I did take a week off to fast and seek clarity, and through that I got myself together. God got me all the way together. So Makeup and Ministry is coming back. I do vlogs on the YouTube channel and then also give you Christian tips to grow in God. So I think you'll like the content on the YouTube channel as well.
Amen.
She playing. You are going to love the content on the channel. It is literally going to feed your faith so much. I kid you not. And she mentioned that, like, you just finished a fast, or you took a week where you didn't do a video, a podcast episode. Y'all, that is boundaries for your anxiety, because I'm real quick to be like, nope, not upload, taking that off the schedule. I'm going to take a nap. Goodbye. So you still giving tips out here in these streets, and I love it. For me, I am also a YouTuber. I want to invite you to subscribe to the channel every single week. I say the same thing. Every single week, I make videos to help women conquer life and everything it throws at them by leveraging the courageous love of Jesus. So I give you actionable, concrete messages with tangible biblical principles that you can like apply today, right now, to get you through whatever it is that you are facing. With well over 300 videos on my channel, y'all, it's like there's something there for you, for real. But it's also like, okay, God, I done 300 some videos. I'm out. But anyway, another source of anxiety. In addition to subscribing to the YouTube channel, you can follow me on Instagram or TikTok at Yasmin_Williams Woods. And last thing, the main thing is basically just go to my website. Every single thing is there. You can join for Bible study. You can purchase my devotional or some other digital products that I have there. You can become a member if you want to, because we've said a lot. Just go to my website, which is YasminWilliamsWoods.com. And feel free to DM me. I already told you I keep my phone on Do Not Disturb. So ain't no need to give you my number, but you can DM me and I will get back to you for real.
And I put all of their links below, and y'all just support. Like, you're gonna find something that you love in all of their stuff. And yeah, make sure you show them love. There's enough love to go around, so show us all some love, okay? Show us all some love. And of course, if you watch this, give this a thumbs up as well. That helps me a ton. But ladies, I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all go. Thank you for hanging in here tonight. And we will definitely be collaborating again because this is fun.
Yes, thanks for having me. Thanks for having us. I love it.
Thank
so
you
grateful
so
for
much.
both of y'all. I love and adore, admire y'all so much. Thanks, Dale.
No problem,
Thank you
y'all.
so
Have a good
much.
night.
You
You're
too.
welcome. All right, y'all. So that is it for tonight. I thank y'all for hanging in there. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. It is a lot on Yasmin's channel, and I'm glad that this was fun for y'all. I hope you gained something from it. Like I said in the beginning, make sure you check the description box, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more. I try to do series and just entertaining live streams and deep discussions every single month. So next month, I have some things in the works. And also, check the links down below for my creative consultation if you want to book that, and also join the newsletter. And you can follow me on TikTok as well. I don't know if it's linked below, but it's at official Rondelle Martin, and that's where my shenanigans is. If you want to see funny videos, content, humor, whatnot, check that out. But anyways, y'all, enjoy your weekend. Have a good Memorial Day weekend. Thank you, Carmen. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Thank you for joining. Have a good Memorial Day weekend. Stay safe, y'all. Have fun, get some rest, and just have a good time. So I will see y'all next Tuesday for live. I think I'm going to say live. It depends on how I'm feeling. If I'm still sick, I may cancel, but just stay abreast on my channel and my Instagram. It's all linked below and you'll see it. But I'll see y'all. Have a good night.